So who is the welterweight GOAT? Is it Kamaru Usman? Is it Georges St-Pierre? In my last video, I was reacting to Kamaru Usman's win over Joaquin Buckley, and I may have implied or said something. I mean, hey guys, I was emotional, but I may have said that he surpassed GSP as welterweight GOAT. And so in this video, we're going to compare the two resumes. We're going to look at the numbers. We're going to look at the dominance. We're going to look at the level of competition. We're going to come to a conclusion whether Kamaru Usman has actually surpassed Georges St-Pierre. And if he hasn't, what does he have to do to surpass him? Now, if you just started watching the UFC, you might not be familiar with Georges St-Pierre's career. If you're part of the skibbity toilet generation, you might not have even been born when he was fighting, which is okay. You can't control when you were born. But let me tell you, you should probably go and confront your parents right now and ask them, why didn't you have me earlier so I could have watched Georges St-Pierre's career? You should really go and do that. You should really go. I missed the whole freaking thing, Dad. You knew Mom was the one. What took you so long? Anyway, so Georges St-Pierre, he was raised in Saint Isidore, Quebec, small town, about 2,000 people, right? His dad was a carpet layer. His mother, Pauline, was a healthcare worker. And so as a child, he was bullied for years by his older classmates. I mean, I don't know why they would bully him. Why would you bully a kid who looks like this? Come on, why would you bully this kid? I am not impressed by your coloring book. And so because he was getting bullied, his father introduced him to Kyokushin karate at age 7. By the time he was age 12, he was already a black belt in Kyokushin karate. That's right. That's what they do. You do it for 5 years. That's how they roll in karate. You do it for 5 years, you're a black belt by age 12. You're a black belt. So also when he was 12, he saw Royce Gracie fight in UFC 1. And after seeing this, he knew exactly what he wanted to do in his life. So he added some real martial arts like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, and wrestling. And he pursued a more complete martial arts base to become a more complete fighter. And he got his black belt in 2008. That was when he was 27 years old and he was already a champion, okay? That's what a real martial art is. He had his first MMA fight when he was 16 and he won. I can't even imagine, coming back to school after an MMA fight and just talking to the cheerleader. I kicked the guy and he knocked out. Yes, I very tough. Yes, he hit me sometimes, but I'm just so tough. Yes, I have a different mentality. Yes, you are a cheerleader. I think you are pretty. We can maybe go out sometime and I can show you my flexibility. Okay, anyway, so he made his UFC debut 2004 at UFC 46 and he beat Karo Parisian by unanimous decision. Later, he beat Jay Heron by TKO round 1. Later, he got a title shot. This is all the same year. Mind you, this is the same year he fought Matt Hughes at UFC 50, lost by first round armbar. This was his first professional loss. I have a different mentality, but I am not a black belt yet. I have something to work on. So after his loss to Matt Hughes, he rebounded with a Kimura win against Dave Strasser. He had a decision win over Jason Miller, rear naked choke over Frank Trigg, knocked out Sean Shirk, then won a decision over BJ Penn at UFC 58 to become the #1 contender, and he got his rematch against that boy Matt Hughes. Got another title shot. He had to fight 4 or 5 times until he got another title shot in 2006, and he got revenge. He knocked that joker out in round 1, finally becoming a UFC champ. And on his way, he said, now it is time to start my illustrious career. He won his belt finally, and it looked like he was on his way to a historic career, locking up bunches and bunches of wins and wins and wins and wins and defending his belt over and over, right? Wrong. Then he ran into Merab's coach, Matt Serra. He knocked him out in his next fight. Oh my goodness. Bing bang. Oh my goodness. Matt Serra came in there. He said, hey, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. And also, I want GSP's belt. Got knocked out by Matt Serra. You could say it was a fluke. Who cares? Whatever. Who cares? I've seen sewer rats eating slices of pizza bigger than this guy. So after that, he had to rebound again. He fought Josh Koscheck for a contenders fight. And then he fought Matt Hughes for a 3rd time. I mean, I'm sick of this guy by this point, for the interim belt. Then after that, He got revenge on Matt Serra. He finished him with knees to the body, beat the crap out of the guy. And so now, this is when the title reign starts. And he defends his belt 9 times. 9 times. Here we go. John Fitch, decision. BJ Penn, TKO. Thiago Alves, decision. Dan Hardy, decision. Josh Koscheck again, decision. Jake Shields, decision. Carlos Condit, decision. Nick Diaz, decision. Johnny Hendricks. When I fought Johnny Hendricks, I said it's time to retire. I later will vacate the title because I have a hard time pooping. Okay, that's messed up. But he did have a hard time pooping, and that's why he. Anyways, okay. So when we look at I can't forget. After a 4-year layoff, so he retired at the age of 32, and after a 4-year layoff, he came back and he beat Michael Bisping for the 185-pound belt, and then I had to vacate that one too because I have to write a book and do podcasts. So all in all, we look at GSP's achievements. 2-division UFC champ, 9 straight title defenses at welterweight, which is absolutely bonkers. 13 UFC title fight victories. Bonkers. He's the record holder for takedowns landed, which ironically, the person who just beat his record was Merab, who was coached by Matt Serra, who knocked him out brutally. 3-time welterweight champ. He held the title from 2006 to basically 2013. His pro MMA record, 26-2, 6 submissions, 12 decisions. All right. Now, Kamaru Usman would like a word. Now we're going to look at Kamaru Usman's career. He was born in 1987 in Auchi, Nigeria. This is a picture of Auchi, Nigeria. Here's another picture of Auchi, Nigeria. I might be pronouncing it wrong. Auchi, I don't know. Looking at so I got a comment the other day. Someone was asking, like, what do you think about Kamaru Usman's like hatred towards Dricus du Plessis? And when I look at this, and then I look at where Dricus du Plessis is from. This is where Dricus du Plessis is from, in South Africa. Welcome, South Africa. This is where Kamaru Usman was born. This is where Dricus du Plessis was born. Okay, now, when I look at that, I think, okay, if I was born here and my parents moved me to the United States and we worked hard and we got a better life and now I'm successful, and then a guy from here were to say that he's the only African champ, I would be mad too, okay? I would crash out too. It's like, for example, I'm from Austin. Imagine if I was from the projects. I was from the hood. If I was from the hood and I got out of Austin and I made a better life for myself and now I'm living somewhere else. And then Joe Rogan comes to Austin and he says, I'm a real Austinite.
I'm a real Texan and a true Austin resident. Flying squirrel doesn't breathe Texas air like I do.
Oh my God. I'd be pissed, bro. I would be pissed. Anyways, that's besides the point. Let's keep going. So he moved to Dallas, Texas when he was 8 years old. Poor guy, he was probably a Cowboys fan. Here's some pictures of him and his family. You can tell that's Mo Usman. Just by, hey, you know I won tough, right? You know I won the Ultimate Fighter? Anyways, let's get back to his wrestling career. So he wrestles. He began in high school, 53-3 record, won Division II championship at 170 pounds. He had a 44-1 record. After that, he goes on to train at the Olympic Training Center. And so while he's wrestling at the training center, he's seeing that, he'll go to a tournament in Russia or something and he'll win the tournament in wrestling and get like $1,000. And then these guys at his gym that he's dominating, they'll go and knock someone out in an MMA fight and they'll make $100,000. And so at some point he said, I'm in the wrong sport. And so after he fails to qualify for the 2012 Olympics, he shifts to MMA. He turns pro in 2012. So he enters the Ultimate Fighter competition. And he beats Haider Hassan in the Ultimate Fighter, winning the Ultimate Fighter. And his first fight in the UFC is against the channel's favorite UFC fighter.
They're all similar styles anyway, all boxers, wrestlers, and I'll build my career on it.
And he bullies him. After this, he goes on a 6-fight win streak, beating Alexander Yakovlev. I'm not going to pronounce that name right. Warley Alves, Sean Strickland. Wow. A lot of people don't know he fought Sean Strickland, beat the absolute crap out of him.
Hey, Izzy, why don't you tell me what not to do? Tell me what not to do, Izzy.
And then he calls out Damian Maia. He says, oh, you're the best grappler, huh? You can't wrestle the way I wrestle. He beats Damian Maia. After this, he fights the this little mushroom guy from Mario, aka Rafael dos Anjos. Mauls him too. Now he set himself up for a title shot. Tyron Woodley, who at that time people were calling the next great welterweight after GSP. It's crazy to think that people were really talking about Tyron Woodley, like Tyron Woodley was going to surpass GSP as the greatest. I mean, half the people saying that were Tyron Woodley. I would say, and his family, but his mom believed in Kamaru Usman too. But yeah, Kamaru Usman, he fights Tyron Woodley and he retires him pretty much. And now we get the reign of Kamaru Usman as champion. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. Now we are in modern history. This is history that we remember. 2019, when he had this fight with Colby Covington.
That was a fake stoppage, fake ref, fake fight. Wait till I see you next time. Wait till I see you next time, Marty Fake Newsman. You're dead.
What a great fight. One of the best fights ever. Should have won an award. It probably won fight of the night. Could have won fight of the year. Who knows? After this, he fought Jorge Masvidal on short notice. After this, he fought Gilbert Burns, knocked him out, former teammate. Then he has the Jorge Masvidal rematch, knockout of the year. Then he has the Colby Covington rematch. Beats him, very, very close fight, but he beats Colby Covington. And this was when people were saying, wow, he's just lapping the division, because all these were rematches. All these were rematches. Then he gets this other rematch. Oh my goodness.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just...
I'm not even going to show the picture of the head kick KO. We all know the story. This is modern history. Even the skibbity toilet generation, you were around for this. So Leon Edwards beats him again in a rematch. He takes a little time off, comes back, week's notice, and fights one of the scariest men in the UFC on a week's notice, up a weight class, Khamzat Chimaev, and loses by decision. Takes another long layoff, about a year and a half, and that's where we are right now this week. Kamaru Usman has come back and fought Joaquin Buckley and mauled him just like he was doing in the 2010s, man. So let's look at Kamaru Usman's achievements. We look at his career. UFC welterweight champion with 6 defenses. Okay, no, that's wrong. He has 5 defenses. Sorry about that. Please forgive me. His 5 defenses were Colby, Jorge, Gilbert, Jorge, and Colby. So he has a 97.3% takedown defense, which is the best in the UFC. 3rd most takedowns in welterweight history. Man, it's kind of bad. 14 fight win streak at welterweight. 2021 fighter of the year, multiple knockout awards. He had the knockout of the year. So now when we put Kamaru Usman and Georges St-Pierre's stats right next to each other, this is what we get. GSP, his UFC welterweight record, 19-2. Usman, his UFC welterweight record, 15-2. Professional record, 26-2, 24-2. So GSP has him on both of these. Win streak, 13. Win streak, 15. So Usman has him on that. Title defenses, GSP has way more title defenses. Usman has 5. 5 is pretty crazy, especially for the modern era. GSP had 9. Finishes in title fights, Usman has 3 finishes in title fights. Total UFC fights. So Kamaru Usman has less UFC fights. So he's behind him by 5 fights. So can he catch up to him in 5 fights? Usman has 6 finishes. GSP has 14 finishes. A lot of those are submission wins. If Usman, the control power that he has, if he just added some submission threat, I feel like he could match this. But it's too late now. This was a big thing that I thought was going to go the opposite way. I was surprised by this. GSP actually had opponents with better records. Slightly better records, 498 and 101, 382 and 101. I calculated this myself. Someone give me a hand of applause. Huh? Hand of applause. Yikes. Okay, so champions fought. GSP fought 8 champs. Usman has fought 5. So, sad news for Flying Squirrel. Usman, I don't think he's anywhere close to beating GSP's record. To beating GSP as the welterweight GOAT. Now, if he actually is able to accomplish what he was saying at that one press conference where he says, I want to go fight Islam or JDM for the belt and get the belt back, and then he wants to go up and fight Dricus du Plessis, if he can do that, I think he by far, that's way more difficult than anything GSP had to do. Okay, if you can beat Islam Makhachev and Dricus du Plessis, no comparison. Dricus du Plessis would absolutely destroy Michael Bisping. And I think Islam Makhachev is definitely better than any, I mean, maybe you could compare him to like a BJ Penn, but I think Islam Makhachev head and shoulders above any of the competition that GSP faced, respectfully. So I think if Usman can do that, if he goes and he fights the winner of JDM versus Islam, let's say that it's Islam Makhachev, even if it's JDM, let's say he beats JDM, he beats Islam Makhachev, he beats Dricus du Plessis at 185, okay, then we have a very, very serious case for calling Kamaru Usman the welterweight GOAT. But right now, I do not think it's close.